Boys' games, Morse. It's a competitive world out there.
So I keep hearing. If you get Radford's, who'll run it?
You haven't got it yet.
Someone from Radford's, or will you put your own man in?
It's a corporate decision.
So Trevor Radford couldn't hack it, is that the story?
What? Oh, Trevor Radford's no longer the issue.
That's one way of putting it.
Look, Radford's is a sick company. Bad marketing, bad pricing structure, bad financial strategy. It needs somebody, as the Americans say, to kick ass.
Their freehold's worth quite a bit, too.
I'm not an asset stripper, Morse, so don't come to the Guardian editorial with me. We're talking commercial synergy here. Either Radford gets an injection of outside capital, or the whole lot goes down the tube and the family with it. I'm their white knight, Morse.
But who's the dragon, George?
One of us will have to keep an eye on the brewery.
I will.
Won't it be too much for you, dear? What about your own business?
It's only a week to the board meeting, Mother, and it'll give me a chance to do some detective work.
What was that?
Detective work, Dad. I want to find out why Farmer's offer was so low.
There's no mystery about that. Every predator makes a low sighting shot.
Not this low. It bears no relation to our asset value. I think Farmers know something we don't.
Well, I'd leave it to the meeting if I were you. Don't rock the boat.
Oh, what do you mean, don't rock the boat? I'm trying to keep it afloat, for God's sake, till Farmers rescue us.
Oh, stop it! Trevor's dead, for God's sake. All you can do is talk about the value of your bloody assets.
Transcript. Dear Mr. Wheatley, I've just received your revaluation of our assets, which frankly astonishes me. I feel I must put on record my opinion that your estimates are, without exception, far too high.
Oh, give it to me, Lewis. Far too high. I realize that land values have increased dramatically over the last few years, but even taking this into account, I cannot agree. Don't slurp in my ear, Lewis. I cannot agree that a 200% increase overall is justified. Perhaps we should meet to discuss the matter. Yours sincerely, Trevor Radford.
Why would Radford have dated that letter 3 years ago? And why would he have burnt the top copy?
Any ideas, Lewis?
There's got to be something to do with the takeover. The motive, I mean. It's got to be financial.
Maybe. But I think it's also to do with a family feud.
What, the brother, Stephen?
Well, not just Stephen. The father, the mother, the sister-in-law. I had the distinct impression that every one of them was being economical with the truth, as if they were closing ranks. Death always makes people close ranks. Death and money. And Trevor's death has certainly cleared the way for the sale of the brewery. But who'll benefit from the takeover? The Radford family, certainly. Farmers. And the new managing director. There were two candidates, Norman Weeks and Victor Priest.
Yeah, I interviewed both of them.
And?
All right, boys, check out.
All right, now let's go and talk to this surveyor.
You okay? Do you want me to come in?
Better not.
What makes you think he typed this last night?
Because he made a copy. The carbon was in the waste paper basket.
But this isn't the original.
No.
But what happened to it?
He burnt it.
How very odd. I really can't help you, Chief Inspector. I've no idea why he should have decided that my valuation was excessive.
You didn't disagree with it at the time?
On the contrary, he seemed completely satisfied.
And since then, you've had no cause to revise your figures?
I wasn't asked to revise them.
Could Radford's change of mind have anything to do with Farmer's offer for the brewery?
Well, that wouldn't make sense. Because whether or not the bid was successful, he'd want the valuation to be as high as possible.
Is that a copy of the valuations?
Of course.
Could we see it?
What's the matter with you, Lewis? Don't you have enough paperwork?
Well, it might have a bearing, sir. Rodford might have been killed to stop him sending that letter.
Why?
Oh, I've no idea.
But he burnt it, so he obviously never intended to send it.
We don't know it was him that burned it.
Were there any other prints on it?
None that we could find.
Not much of a theory, then, is it?
Well, do you have one?
Not yet. But there's something very interesting about this case.
What?
Everyone we've talked to so far is hiding something, including that surveyor.
Radford must have told the family. They must know that he wanted you to take over as manager.
Maybe. Anyway, it's all academic now.
Not necessarily. You can always tell them that you were Radford's choice.
It doesn't work like that, Mother. The family will make their own appointment.
No, the police won't bother you anymore, will they? You're the one who's lost out.
Yes. I'm going to have to, what's the expression, consider my position.
Oh, don't be silly, Victor. You mustn't resign.
I'm a qualified chemist. I'll have no trouble finding another job.
But we must stay here in Oxford. Oh, no, I couldn't face another move.
There you go.
Thank you, dear.
Can you phone Bullens for me today?
All right.
Ask me if my guards van's come in yet.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, don't bother about dinner tonight.
Mrs. Radford gone shopping with children. Be back soon.
It's all right if we wait, isn't it?
I'm sure it's okay.
Suit your kids, this, Lewis.
Oh, and take that newspaper and put it on this. Thanks, and keep an eye on the children. They're in the pool.
Mrs. Radford?
Yes?
I'm Chief Inspector Morse. This is Sergeant Lewis.
I was wondering when you were going to get round to me.
Oh?
Last and definitely least. How can I help you, Chief Inspector?
Your husband told us he had a business meeting in Bristol the day before yesterday.
Really?
You didn't know?
I'm not interested in his meetings. They can be in Timbuktu for all I care.
What time did he arrive home, Mrs. Radford?
Oh. He's a suspect, is he? Well, I expect someone told you that Trevor and Stephen didn't get on.
Is it true?
Yes. Poor old Trevor made rather a mess of things at the brewery, and Stephen gave him hell. He's the one with the head for business, you see. Trevor was too proud to take his advice.
And they disagreed about whether or not to accept Farmer's offer.
Well, I think both of them would like to have kept the brewery going if it hadn't been losing money. Stephen was just trying to salvage something from the wreck, that's all.
So what time did he get home from Bristol?
I've no idea.
You weren't here?
I was asleep.
What time did you go to bed?
No. Let me see. I was watching television and then the bloody Horse of the Year show came on, so I went to bed. Must have been about 11:30.
You didn't ask him why he was so late?
You don't have that sort of marriage, Mr. Morse.
Charles? The police may wish to ask us some more questions. Be careful what you say to them, won't you?
Why?
We have some dirty linen. We don't want it washed in public.
Oh? What dirty linen?
To do with the family.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Do I? It must have slipped my mind.
Good.
Excuse me, madam. Mr. Lineker is here.
Isabel, my dear. I don't know what to say.
Nothing, George. But it's kind of you to come.
What's he here for?
Come to offer my condolences, Charles. I'm so sorry.
Oh. I suppose you think it's just a formality now?
What?
Our acceptance. I suppose you think it's a foregone conclusion.
He hasn't come to talk business, dear. Don't be so uncivil.
Still can't believe it. Who on earth would want to kill him?
Yes. He's such a harmless boy. A little out of his depth, perhaps. That's what I find so hard to bear. The fact that he wasn't a success. Never really achieved anything.
It's not easy, the brewery business.
You know as well as I do. If Stephen had been running the brewery, it would still have been viable. And you'd have had to pay a lot more for it.
Sarge? Any print?
Life's never that easy, Lewis.
I've just been on to Tremolo Computers in Bristol.
And?
They did have a meeting with Stephen Radford on the day of the murder, but it finished at 6, not 7.
All right. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he went for a meal before driving home. Let's be generous. Let's say the meal took an hour and a half. The drive back couldn't have taken more than an hour and a half.
So he could have been in Oxford well before 9:30.
He didn't get home till after 11:30.
Which puts him right in the frame.
And his wife didn't seem too keen to get him out of it.
Bitter. She seemed very bitter.
Well, you think so? That was a curious phrase she used. Last and definitely least.
But many that are first shall be lost, and the last shall be first.
Very good, Lewis. Where'd you pick that up?
Sunday school, sir.
And what's its relevance?
It means that one of these days I'm going to be a chief inspector. And you're going to be a sergeant, sir.
It's Nelson. In view of the recent tragedy, I think we should meet. Don't you? To discuss the future.
I rang a mate of mine on the Oxford Mail, and he confirmed what I'd already heard at the brewery. It's been running at a loss for several years.
So why does he think farmers want to take it over?
For the land. It's a prime site.
Yes.
He reckons they'll close the place down, sell off the land to a development company. They've done it before.
I know. Chief Inspector Morse, Thames Valley Police, Mr. Radford.
One thing that puzzles him, though, why the offer's so low. He says it's nothing like what it should be worth.
What is it now?
Just a few more questions, sir.
All right, but make it quick. I'm up to my eyes today.
You're not interested in helping us find your brother's killer?
Not if you're trying to pin it on me.
What time did you arrive back in Oxford the day before yesterday?
Here we go again.
We're going again because we didn't get an answer the first time.
I'm sorry, I really don't remember.
You must have some idea. 9, 10, 11?
Well, let's see. I left Bristol just after 8, so it must have been about 9:30.
And you drove straight home?
No.
No. According to your wife, you hadn't returned when she went to bed at 11:30. And your meeting finished at 6, which leaves 5 or 6 hours unaccounted for.
I'd arranged to meet someone.
In Oxford?
Yes.
Who?
I'm afraid I can't tell you.
A woman?
You must draw your own conclusions.
Oh, I came to my own conclusions some time ago, Mr. Radford.
I thought it was Trevor. When I heard the doorbell, he was always losing his keys.
I thought about phoning, but then I thought, well, that's the easy way, so... Here I am.
Do you want to come in?
How are you bearing up?
All right. I didn't get sunk in yet.
Family rallying round?
Yes. Everyone's been very kind.
Good. If Stephen and I can do anything to help Helen, you will let us know, won't you?
Thank you, Thelma.
We wouldn't want you to be alone. Unless, of course, you prefer it. One of us could stay with you, if you like.
No. No, that won't be necessary.
Sure you don't want me to send Stephen round? I mean, he could sleep on the sofa or something. Just till you're over the worst.
I wouldn't dream of imposing on him. He's got enough on his plate as it is.
Wouldn't mind. He can sleep anywhere, makes no difference to him. Shall I lend him to you for a while?
Dangerous. I might want to keep him.
I don't think so. He's very unreliable, you know. A lot of unexplained absences.
Really?
That's why the police came to see me. They wanted to know where he was the night that Trevor died.
Yes, well, it was the police who brought me the news. Chief Inspector in charge of the case. He drove me over to Isabel's.
Really?
He seemed to pick on Stephen. That made Isabel very angry.
I can imagine. Still, it's not absolutely impossible, is it?
What do you mean?
Well, Trevor was in his way, wasn't he? At the brewery, I mean. It's the old Esau and Jacob thing. One brother depriving the other of his birthright.
May we therefore beg your indulgence over the settlement of your account and trust that meanwhile deliveries of barley will continue as usual. Yours faithfully, etc. What do you think?
Sounds all right. Should buy us some time.
Yes, let's hope. When you've typed it, make sure it gets the Evening Post, okay? You're wasting your time, you know. Hitching your wagon to the wrong star.
What do you mean?
I mean, when farmers take over, I shall still be here. Victor won't.
And how do you know that?